Like the thumbnail says, this is literal perfection. How's it going, fellow cinephiles? This is Dominic from Film Overload, the channel where we talk about movies, pop culture, and everything in between. And I'm coming at you again with another Disney retro review, and I am very, very excited for this review because I am finally getting to revisit one of my personal favorite movies of all time, and that is the 1992 perfection that is Aladdin. Words cannot describe how much I love this film. Like I mentioned, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. There is just something so special about Aladdin to me personally, and it really connected with me as a kid. And after rewatching it recently, it just brought back all of those memories I had with this film as a kid. And I was just so blown back by just how good this movie is. The story revolves around a street rat named Aladdin as he just wants to have a better life for himself. And when he stumbles across the beautiful Princess Jasmine roaming the streets of Agrabah, he falls in love with the Princess of Agrabah and wants her to himself. But in order to get her, he goes on a wild adventure which ultimately changes his life forever. And again, I know that sounds so simple, but that was just Disney's way of telling these stories back in the 90s. But it was just so effective, the way they would tell these stories. They just really resonated with people all these years later and still continue to resonate with new people who are seeing these films for the first time. Aladdin is just one of those simple tales where the guy just wants to get the girl, and he has to be a hero in order to achieve his goals, which is eventually getting together with Jasmine. As far as writing goes, again, I have no complaints. This script is perfect. It has just the right amount of drama, just the right amount of comedy, just the right amount of romance. And those three things together just made for a really entertaining and wildly fun script, which gave birth to not only a great story, but some of my personal favorite movie characters of all time. And speaking of those characters, let's start with Aladdin himself. Aladdin is a fantastic character and a very relatable character as well for someone who maybe feels kind of shunned from society or just kind of feels out of place because of their situation or their environment they live in. He's just that character that you can just kind of root for the entirety of the film, and you really hope this guy gets the dream girl that he just really wants by his side for the rest of his life. And just his perseverance to get her is just so inspiring for some reason. I don't know why, but just his perseverance and just the way that he wants her by his side the entirety of his life there's just something so special about his determination in this movie. And again, really inspiring as well for some reason. I don't know why, but he just has this good guy, you can root for him the entire time, and I root for him from beginning to end. You really feel for this guy and you really understand what he wants to do, which really makes him a really fantastic character. And speaking of that princess that Aladdin so wants by his side, Jasmine is just a fantastic Disney princess, and in my opinion, the best Disney princess that they have come up with. Yes, I know that could cause some controversy, but it's true. In my honest opinion, I think Jasmine is the perfect Disney princess, a perfect character that complements Aladdin so well, and honestly kind of shares similarities with him in terms of character arcs. She just feels so bogged down and so tied down by her situation. She wants to leave the palace and just explore the world and explore new things in her life. And that's why the two of these characters fall in love, because they have the exact same kind of strategies and goals for themselves, being on two polar opposite sides of the societal totem pole. But you can just see the chemistry right away when they first meet each other, and that chemistry really sparked this movie from beginning to end. I know in my last video that I said that Gaston was one of Disney's best villains, but I personally think that Jafar is slightly better than Gaston. I know, another probably hot take right there, but I just think Jafar is a fantastic villain for this movie and a really solid Disney villain, that is. The goals that he has and just his plans to trick the Sultan into doing all of these things was just really well thought out and really well written. And he leads a really good group of supporting characters as well. Robin Williams playing the genie is just perfection. Robin Williams as the genie will forever be one of Disney's greatest achievements. Robin just brought a bunch of heart and soul into this movie, and without him, I don't think this movie would be nearly as impactful if he wasn't in this movie. I think if he wasn't in this movie would have little to no impact, in my opinion, because he's just that big of a presence and just that good. And the late, great Robin Williams really added a lot of heart to this movie as well. I know I gush a lot about Disney's animation style in the 90s, that being hand-drawn animation, but this was the movie in particularly that really made me fall in love with the hand-drawn animation. There's just something so beautiful, especially in this movie, about the hand-drawn animation, and it really just stands out. The way they designed Agrabah and the streets of Agrabah, to the character molds and costumes and the way they moved and the way they spoke and sung, just that animation style alone is just so amazing. And again, this was the movie that made me fall in love with the hand-drawn animation because it is just so unique and just that beautiful. Now, there are many things that made me fall in love with this movie. The story, the characters, the animation, but what really tied this movie in a bow for me was the incredible soundtrack in this movie. From Arabian Nights to One Jump Ahead, which is just a great song, to Prince Ali, to Friend Like Me, and then to cap it all off with one of the most beautiful songs ever written, in my opinion, being A Whole New World. This soundtrack is just perfect. It is so perfect and so good. Alan Menken is just a musical genius when it came to these Disney movies, and he really flexes his muscles in this movie. I could listen to the Aladdin soundtrack all day and all night. It is just that good. And the music is what really made me fall in love with this movie. Overall, the 1992 film Aladdin is just a perfect film. A film that I could watch all day and all night. It is in my top 10 personally of all time, and it has really resonated with me from my childhood into my adult years. A story of love, a story of action, and a story of mystery, all wrapped up in a perfect bow with great characters, a great story, and a perfect soundtrack. Disney has an absolute winner here again. So there it is, another Disney retro review about a movie that I will love and cherish for the rest of my life. And if you guys love these Disney retro reviews, and if you want to see more of them or other forms of content, be sure to smash that like button. Also hit the subscribe button while you're at it and turn on the post notifications so that you guys can get notified every single time I post a video. You can follow me on Letterboxd, which is right here. I post all of my movie reviews on Letterboxd, as it helps me keep track of movies that I have watched, movies that I haven't watched, and movies that I will watch. And I think you guys would benefit greatly from this app and this website if you are indeed lovers of cinema like myself. As always, guys, happy movie watching. Take care.